Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Productions channel here at YouTube. Now, it should be no secret at this point that I do dig some lightweight stuff. At least when it comes to the realms of hard rock, I definitely do enjoy the more melodic stuff. And within lately, due to some of the albums I've been spotlighting on my album of the week, it should definitely be apparent. However, though, there was a point in time, at least, let's go back 10 years ago at least, maybe 2009 to be exact, that it wasn't always the case. I didn't really get into this stuff, and I'll get to the period where I started to be more open to more melodic stuff. Now, before I really get into, at least before 2009, I was at least I had a soft spot, for bands like, for bands, for example, like Foreigner, to an extent, and Styx, and I don't know if I could say Journey, because I wasn't at that time I wasn't a complete big fan, or at least I wasn't really that much into them. I mean, the only album that I ever listened to before, at least that was Journey, was the live record from 1981. I don't have it right now with at least in this pile, but I definitely was into that. And of course, I have a bit of a soft spot for some of the really early Bon Jovi albums. And of course, I even do dig even within in the realm of this genre. This is definitely within after the kind of years that I'll after the alleged record or whatever that I'm probably gonna end up going into. So I'm just right now I'm just building a fucking suspense. But I dig this fucking album from Blackfoot at this point. I dig this album. Even though it's definitely far from their best record, it's still not a bad one, though this song right here sucks. Vertical Smiles. This one fucking sucks. I also even forgot to kind of pull out the Cage from Tigers of Pantang, which I just talked about or will be talking about anyways in which will be a box set showcase on the Tigers of Pantang box set. So just to give you a heads up what's going to be up tomorrow. Still, I should have brought that one, even though the album isn't that great. But compared to the record that I will definitely be focusing on, it's at least better, and I can tolerate that fucking album. I mean, and before that, I even dig some really cheesy shit too. For example, I've got a right now soft spot for this fucking album right here, which is gonna say quite a bit compared to the album that I'm now gonna be showing. I mean, so back in 2009, we're browsing through some of the records. There was just one album that definitely kind of, I don't know, piqued my interest since I was kind of getting into really listening to vinyl and so on. So I decided, you know what, this looks different for here. It's an 80s record from 1982. Let me see how this fucking sounds. And over the years, I've tried to give this fucking album a chance, but I just could never, ever, ever own up to ever getting into this fucking album. There's just something, I mean, over the years, I've, again, after this record, and this is one of those albums that just turned me off from ever wanting to completely go any more forward into checking more AOR or melodic, heavy, hard rock kind of bands. It's this fucking album right here. And it'll be their second record. It's Frankie and the Knockouts with Below the Belt. Son of a fucking bitch. This is, it took, I don't know how much longer it actually took for me to actually to muster up a lot of my words for this fucking album right here. I mean, also it should be also be noted, look at the fucking back cover. Look at these fucking guys. It should have been a completely dead ringer. At the time, I wasn't completely aware or didn't have the mindset of of judging stuff, judging a book by its cover. I really wasn't at that point. I basically didn't really give a shit. I just went with it, just looked interesting, or for some reason. It's like, you know, at this day and age, I'm at the point where I probably will start judging a book by its cover, because with this, you know, before I really get to really summon up the album, this is basically as bottom of the barrel as you can get within the sort of melodic hard rock or AOR stuff. This is like the biggest example of everything that was wrong with that genre, and why it was probably so frowningly looked upon by a lot of the hard rock or even heavy metal crowds because of it. This is the biggest fucking example. I mean, at the time, you know, you had at least, you know, Journey at the time, and Foreigner. I mean, they released this fucking album right here, 4, which was one of their biggest selling albums. I mean, of course, featuring their biggest hit being Jukebox Hero, and of course also Urgent, but of course it's got Waiting for a Girl Like You. It seemed like ever since fucking Foreigner released this fucking track, and I think whatever also Journey had released, one of their fucking sappy ballads they released on those 2 fucking albums they released in not Frontiers, but you know, it doesn't even matter. You probably should already recognize those 2 albums anyways, like from 80 to 81. You know what I mean? Like Departure and fucking yeah, that doesn't really matter. I mean, those 2, they had some. It's like Survivor also, for an example. If I have to go any further, it's like the minute the biggest focal point of here is that Foreigner releases, you know, they release Waiting for a Girl Like You, and then Journey releases one of their big sappy fucking ballads, which were geared towards you know, the school relationship crowd, whatever, you know, like the school dances, whatever, you know, it was like or the stuff, whatever song that can write that would be seen for as a couple after they get married, whatever, and years later they'll be like, oh, that's the first song we ever danced to, it's the first song we ever made love to, that's the first song you ever jerked me off to, you know. And it just seemed to open the floodgates and this is where we end up with here, is with this fucking album. And that's what you pretty much get with this. You get nothing but every bit of Waiting for a Girl Like You clone on this goddamn album. It's nothing but clones. It's a Foreigner fucking clone, and it's the most fucking bottom barrel as you can get to a Foreigner clone. And this is one of those records that just turned me away from ever trying to go any further, because of, I was like thinking, if every other AOR band's gonna sound like this, are gonna be aping every bit of the worst fucking thing from Foreigner, I'm done. I'm jumping off. This song's even the most hardest rockin' song off this album, which is Shakedown. Shakedown or Keep on Fighting. They suck. They still fucking suck. It's just every bit of the bottom of the barrel as you can get for it, and it's so average, so boring. It's not even that great, and the fact is that this band apparently got any radio play than compared to the other band that I wish I should have checked out firsthand, which is this band right here, which I just talked about recently in one of my Album of the Week videos. You know what? Let me just put the 2 more popular albums. Axe. Apparently these guys didn't get apparently if my dad did ever hear any song by these 2, it probably would have flew by for some reason. Apparently that band got more attention. I mean, it should also be noted that apparently Frankie and the Knockouts of one of the other reasons why apparently, you know, Bon Jovi apparently went somewhere for some reason. Apparently on his Hall of Fame speech, he apparently somehow gave thank yous to one of the members of Frankie and the Knockouts. But but comparison to this, and then with these 2, I should have checked out these 2 before I should have just. I wish Dad had one of these. Had one of these 2 fucking albums instead of that goddamn record. I mean, comparing, I mean, see, I was waiting to do videos like this. This is a goddamn fucking rant here, and it's been a while since I've done a rant on any fucking album, but I mean, comparison between these two, this album makes this album sound like Screaming for Vengeance or Power Slave or Number the Beast. This is fucking Number the Beast compared to this fucking piece of shit. I mean, also, comparison. Look at these guys. Comparison to the look of these fucking wimps. These fucking guys. Even that mustache doesn't save the fucking person. They even save this. I mean, comparison to also look at these guys, and you look at these guys. Look at them. These guys, in comparison to fucking Frankie and the Knockouts, these might as well be the Fabulous Freebirds. This guy right here might as well be Michael P.S. Hayes, and this is Terry fucking Gordy. These guys are basically living on fucking bad street while these guys are living on some other part. I mean, these are the type of guys right here that these guys would probably beat the fuck up in a goddamn bar. It's... Oh, I've been waiting to fucking use that line finally. Oh my god. It's just, this album right here is just not fucking good. And I can pull up even more records that still blow this fucking record out of the water. I can still pull up some more records. Here. This record right here. This bronze record that Bip Bop Boom had sent me. And this is apparently, it's in similar camp with the Frank and the Knockouts, but it's still... This might as well be, again, British Steel or fucking Killing Machine. This is still at least more heavier than this piece of dog shit. I mean, this is pretty fucking cheesy, okay, in some aspects. This is still pretty cheesy, but compared to that piece of cheese, which obviously is expired, foul fucking cheese, this right here is at least, you know, it's actually pretty fucking cool. It's actually pretty good. I mean, in comparison to that, this is actually a pretty damn good record. And I can even pull up these two fucking albums right here, which these are not the best sounds from Blue Oyster Cult, but comparison to that Frank and the Knockouts, these two albums blow that Frank and the Knockouts sound out of the goddamn fucking water. Comparison to that, this is just by far one of the worst AOR albums of all. It's so goddamn droning and boring. There's just nothing good to it. I mean, Frankie and the Knockouts. Yeah, right. Frankie and the Knockouts. You know what? Frankie had the pass out because after you put this record on, you're gonna be passed out by the time this record is even done. It's that fucking boring. I mean, the minute you probably do even wake up, by the time, side one will be over the minute by the time you fucking wake up, and you'll be like, what the hell happened? You probably didn't even remember a goddamn thing before you even went and passed out on the fucking chair or the couch, and then probably will be like, fuck, I have to listen to side one before I get to side two again. So when you probably then put the needle back on the record, you'll then realize, whoa. No wonder I passed out. This sucks. This fucking sucks right here. So in closing, no, there's just nothing redeemable about this fucking album compared to other sort of melodic rock albums. Again, this sound right here, not a great album, but still better than this. And the album, The Cage from Tigers of Pantang, not a great album from Tigers of Pantang, but still better than this. This is just so bottom of the barrel. It's so mundane. It's boring. There's nothing here that's great. It's every bit of Waiting for a Girl Like You clone, just stretched out to a fucking full-length album. You'd be better off. I don't know if there's anything else I can say. There's more other things you're better off fucking doing. You could probably I could just take a bunch of light tubes and have yourself a phony fucking a wrestling mud show match than actually listen to this goddamn record. It's just fucking sucks, okay? So at closing, if I don't want to stretch this rant any further, I just want to definitely talk about a record that for sure is one of those albums that it just, as one of the main albums, that kind of turned me away from ever wanting to move, really check out any other, AOR hard rock band or melodic hard rock band. Because to me, after hearing that album at the time of 2009, and within years after that, I'm trying to get it when I have a chance, I'll be like, if every other band's going to sound like this, no. I'm sticking with it, I'm liking it. But, again, if it wasn't for any of my guys, like Painkiller, or talking about albums like Axe, from Axe and so on, I probably wouldn't have had that much of an open mind anymore. But since I have much more open mind, I can find some good diamonds in the rough within at least even not one of my favorite genres. I can find at least some. Now I can find some pretty likable stuff. But that album is one of the main perpetrators. So in closing, yeah, this record fucking sucks. I don't want to ever hear their album before this one. I don't want to ever hear anything after this one. This album would be better off thrown in the fucking trash than probably to resell. It's bad. But again, if you actually dig this kind of record, more power to you. But for me, the albums I just showed after this or within, I'll just stick with. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed this Heavy Thrash Head Sam out. I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.